Yes, hello. Let us learn the basics of using physics. This course is a beginner's course in Primavera physics. Those who want to learn physics and understand its basics within minimum time shall take this course. So if you want to build a good foundation in using Primavera physics, then this course is ideal for you. The enterprise project structure (EPS) is a hierarchical representation of all projects in a database. It can be subdivided into multiple levels to represent work within an organization. EPS nodes at higher levels may represent divisions, project phases, site locations, or other major groupings. EPS Enterprise Project Structure Construction, Engineering Department, Marketing Department. Under Engineering Department, horizontal, vertical. Under Marketing Department, Team X. Defining calendars. Global, project, resource. Calendar calculation. 5 days per week, Monday to Friday. Project duration, 31 days. Project holiday, first. Project start, second. Project finish date, third. Work breakdown structure. It is used to group and summarize activities under a hierarchical structure. Simple examples of WBS structures: construction, under construction, civil works, masonry works, mechanical works. Adding activities and activity code function. Activity type, auto-numbering defaults, adding new activities, customizing activities, activity code function. Adding activities and activity code function. Activity type, activity details, general tab. In the activity type, encircle start milestone, finish milestone, level of effort, resource dependent, task dependent, WBS summary. Adding activities and activity code function. Auto-numbering defaults, project details, defaults tab. Activity ID prefix encircled A, activity ID suffix 1000, increment 10. Adding activities and activity code function. Activity workspace. Activity command toolbars. Activity table. Right-click Add. Activity workspace. Insert key. Formatting the display. Columns, activity bars, grid lines, data date, formatting row height, colors, fonts, time scale. A progress line is a way to graphically trace progress on activities and see how a project is performing with regard to its scheduled deadlines. Adding relationships, predecessor and successor. Predecessor, an activity that controls the start or finish of another immediate subsequent activity. Successor, an activity where the start or finish depends on the start or finish of another immediately preceding activity. Like start engine is the predecessor, drive is the successor. Relationship types, finish to start, start to start. Relationship types: start to finish, finish to finish. Leads and lags. A lag is a duration that is applied to a dependency to make the successor start or finish earlier or later. Start to finish, Fs with positive log. Start to finish, Fs with negative log. Activity Network View PERT CPM. Formatting the activity boxes, terms in PERT CPM diagram, early date, late date, and float calculations. Comes from the root word PERT, Project Evaluation and Review Technique, and CPM, Critical Path Method, a tool used to schedule and organize tasks or activities in a project by putting them together in an activity network form. One of the main features of PERT CPM is the use of a network or precedence diagram which clearly indicates which of the activities must be performed in the sequence which can be performed independently with each other. Critical path. The critical path is the shortest duration that a project may be completed in, and a delay to any activity will delay the end date of the project. Free float. The free float is the amount of time an activity may be delayed without delaying another activity, displayed only as a column. Free float equals ES or early start of next activity minus early finish current activity. Total float. The total float, or commonly referred as float, is the amount of time an activity may be delayed without delaying the end of the project. An activity with total float may delay another activity, may be displayed in a column and in the Gantt chart as per the thin black bar below. Total float equals late start minus early start or late finish minus early finish. Understanding floats. A positive float indicates that the activity may be delayed without delaying the project. A zero float indicates that the activity cannot be delayed without delaying the project. A negative float value indicates that the project is behind schedule, and a negative time value indicates the amount of that delay. Forward pass. Early date, late date, and float calculations. The forward pass calculates the early dates. Start the calculation from the first activity and work forward in time. Early start always given. Early finish equals early start plus duration minus 1. Backward pass. The backward pass calculates the late dates. Start the calculation at the last activity and work backwards in time. Late finish equals early finish if no deadline equals given deadline. Late start equals late finish minus duration plus 1. Total project duration equals early finish of last activity. Total float. Total float is the difference between either the late finish and the early finish, or the difference between the late start and the early start of an activity. Late finish minus early finish or late start minus early start. Activity on node style. Sample problem: ES equals 4, LS equals 4, EF equals 8, LF equals 8, float equals 0. ES equals 9, EF equals 10, 2 days. Activity C, LS equals 13, LF equals 14, float equals 4. ES equals 15, EF equals 18. Activity D, 4 days. LS equals 15, LF equals 18, float equals 0. Constraints. Start activity constraints. Start on no total float but may develop negative float. Start on or after early start constraint. Finish on no total float but may develop negative float. Finish on or before late finish constraint. Activity constraints type. Mandatory start, mandatory finish, expected finish calculates the remaining duration of an activity. As late as possible consumes free float. Note: before equals late, after equals early. Filters. Filters control the number of activities that are displayed on screen and printout. Types of filter: default, global, user defined. Filters. Applying a filter. Creating a new filter. Modifying a filter. Group, sort, and layout. Grouping activities allows the grouping of activities under a band on the screen. Sorting activities sorts the activities within a band. Layouts allow the users to save all the screen formatting including timescale, columns, grouping, sorting, and print settings. Creating roles. Creating resources. Traditionally, planning scheduling software defines a resource includes people or groups of people, materials, equipment, and money. A role is normally used at the planning stage of a project and represents a skill or position. Assigning roles, resources, and expenses. Assign resources by role. Assign labor, non-labor, and material resources to activities. Adjust budgeted times, budgeted units, time for a resource. Assign expenses to activities. Module 14, Tracking Progress. Understanding date fields, setting the baseline, practical methods of recording progress, understanding the concepts, updating the schedule, progress spotlight and update progress, suspend and resume, scheduling the project, comparing the progress with baseline. Module 15, Resource Optimization. Reviewing resource loading, methods of resolving resource peaks and conflicts, resource leveling function. Module 16, Printing. Printing, print preview, page setup, print setup form.